In this assignment, I have to list specific changes Apple has made in their code of conduct in the recent years. One significant change that Apple has made is they are now auditing their factories overseas for certain things and are more restrictive on certain things. On some of the research that I have done, in the last couple of years, Apple has actually terminated relationships with at least 18 suppliers due to code violations. Apple is quoted to say, any supplier with a core violation is placed on probation until successful completion of their next audit. During the probation, issues are monitored closely, and if we believe the suppliers is not true in committing to change, we terminate the relationship. To date, we have terminated relationships with 18 suppliers. Now, one thing that I have seen that Apple is working hard with is terminating suppliers that supply, underage labor. Suppliers shall employ only workers who are at least 15 years of age, the applicable minimum legal age for employment, or the application age for completion of compulsory education, wherever is the highest. Suppliers may provide legitimate workplace apprenticeship programs for educational benefits that are consistent with Article 6 of the ILO Minimum Age Convention number 138, or light work consistent of Article 7 of the ILO Minimum Age Convention. Now, reading through this is the Apple Suppliers Code of Conduct. The rules and regulations that Apple have set forth really sound more of like an American thing, because overseas, the ages are different, the codes are different. So I can see where they're going with this, but in order to be completely neutral and able to actually make a change, they would have to, I guess, abide by each country's laws. And like I said, my example is Apple actually going to their suppliers that are separate from Apple, but supply Apple with their products needed to make Apple products. Now, some of the changes that are being made to meet Apple's requirements, Apple has auditors going to different warehouses. Now, the first thing about this is Apple uses their own auditors. So it's an Apple auditor going to these locations. And they, in 2011, went to 229 suppliers, which was an 80% increase from 2010. So 129 suppliers was an 80% increase than what they audited in 2010. And with those audits, they look for working conditions as far as giving people lunches, breaks, not having people working 17, 18, 20 hours a day, letting people actually have a day off in between working a certain amount of days in a row. But with Apple and what they require, for a 7-day period, a person needs at least 1 day off. They're not allowed to work more than 28 hours, but they are allowed to work, they're not allowed to work more than 28 hours as far as regular time, and 60 hours including overtime. So if a person works 59 hours 48 of that is going to be paid at regular wages, whereas the rest will be paid at overtime. There's no specific amount as far as what the minimum wage is, but there are percentages for the practice compliance. So, like, they're not able to discriminate against ageism, sexism, racism, religionism, all of those things. But they have practices in place, but there's like a lot of wiggle room in between. So, with all of that being said, I can see where Apple is putting forth an effort to eliminate discriminatory and child labor and bad labor practices, but with the facts that I've seen, they do have a lot of wiggle room, and they do use their wiggle room. So that is my presentation, and I'm done.